HD is free with digital cable. Season number 8 for Ron Gardenhire, still trying to hang in there in the American League Central Division, and 6.5 games back in third place. Coming into tonight, 3 games back of second place Chicago. And Kyle Davies' first pitch is a strike, and that's always a good sign for him. When Kyle has his troubles, a lot of times it's in the very first inning.
They're just getting that fastball down in the strike zone. That's the one thing the manager, Trey Hillman, keeps pointing to when Kyle pitches. First thing out of his mouth all the time is fastball command, and that's usually true to every pitcher that goes out there.
Kyle beating Minnesota back on August the 11th. He got huge run support. You might remember that was the game the Royals won 14-6. Kyle went 5 of those innings, giving up just 1 run, and he struck out 6. Right near second base, Betancourt has to watch out for the bag and makes the play to get Denard Span. And with 1 down in the top of the first inning, let's find Joe Goldberg.
Well, guys, I'm by the Twins bullpen, and of course, Joe Nathan, 53 pitches last night. Ron Gardenhire saying this is the first time he can ever remember Joe Nathan not being available for a game, although he said that Nathan would certainly say he's fine today. He is not going to let him in there, obviously, after those stressful 2 innings last night. He said that he tried to pull him after the Callaspo at bat in the 10th inning, and of course, we saw that on our camera as Ron Gardenhire put it. He stiff-armed me and gave me the Heisman, so he said, one more batter, and I was going to go out there with pitching coach Rick Anderson and remove him together. He said that veterans like Nathan or Brad Radke in the past have earned the right to pretty much tell him that they got to get off the mound, leave me out here, and use some choice words. He said if Brian Dunsing, tonight's young starter, does that, you can't print what I will say to him. But shockingly, in Gardenhire's conversation with us, he said that I fully expect that Nathan will be available tomorrow. We would have thought after 53 pitches, no way, but he said to not get him into a game tonight, there'll be a fight. Tomorrow, if he doesn't get into a game, there will be a war, guys.
Well, I thought he might be ready by early September after going 53 pitches, which, by the way, that's the most pitches Nathan has thrown in an outing since becoming a Twin. 2-2 on Orlando Cabrera, who had the game-winning hit last night. That triple that sliced away from Willie Bloomquist into the right field corner. And scored AT KCA. Got him with a changeup. So a good start for Kyle. A pop up and a strikeout and 2 down. Well, another night where you kind of get the feeling that summer is slowly fading away. 79 degrees at first pitch. Game started at 6:10 Central Daylight Time. Time and temp brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. So Davies faces Joe Mauer with nobody on base and misses very high. A single, 2 intentional walks for Mauer, so his batting average didn't move. Still at .378, which leads the league. One ball, 1 strike.
Joe Mauer kind of reminds me of the Twins organization as a whole. When I came in the league, it seemed like they always led the league in hitting as a team. But you go back to Rod Carew when he's always up in the 350s, 360s, Kirby Puckett. Seemed like there was always a Minnesota Twin hitter that you had to deal with when you're talking about going for the batting title.
Now, I'm going to throw this statement out here, and I want you to explain it for me. When I watch Joe Mauer, he makes every pitcher look like he's only throwing about 85 miles an hour. Why is that?
Because he's just very little movement. He's real quiet. He knows the pitch he wants to hit. He just really just centers out over the plate, and he ball down and in. He can collapse on. But the biggest thing is good hand-eye coordination. You got to be able to see the ball out of the pitcher's hand, and he probably does that better than anybody. Just recognizing pitch and pitch location.
I mean, it seems like, Frank, someone could be on the mound throwing 96, but when he's up there, it just doesn't look like it's getting there very fast.
Well, he doesn't swing hard because the pitcher throws hard. He's got his one swing. He's real nice and short. He can take the fastball out over the plate and drive it to left field, left center field, and if you leave something down and in, he's able to get the head of the bat to that too. But I think he just got great eyes.
And shows it there with a 2-out walk. Now, typically, this means Justin Morneau would come to the plate, but he is back in Minnesota with that inner ear infection, so we won't see him at all this weekend. And Jason Kubel, who has 20 home runs and is hitting over 300, is batting fourth. Kubel was 1 for 5 in last night's game, and now Miguel Olivo a little concerned as Davies has missed with the last 4 and 5 out of the last 6 pitches. Go back there and get him back on track. You know, Morneau's gone, but Kubel and Kadire, the 4 and 5 hitters, have combined to hit 39 home runs this year. Coming back with a changeup, 1 ball, 1 strike.
At the start of the season, Ryan, you probably would think with Kyle Davies that he would say his curveball might have been his second best pitch. But since his return from Omaha, he really feels like his changeup is his second best pitch.
Now he just misses with the fastball. Still hasn't gone back to that cutter that you and I thought was a great pitch going back to his first start of the year at Chicago.
Sometimes a pitcher is stubborn sometimes with what they want to work versus what is actually working, and Kyle Davies has been able to go through all of those changes with the fastball, curveball, slider, change, cutter, and he just seems to think the changeup is the pitch.
And that changeup had great life, just disappearing, and Kubel swinging right over the top. Comes back with it again, and it's still 2-2. Now Kubel batting fourth tonight against Kyle Davies. That might not be a huge drop off as opposed to Justin Morneau. Morneau is just 1 for 16 against Kyle Davies, while Jason Kubel hits .429. Just a little low. And I remember talking about that when Davies pitched against Minnesota on the last road trip, that I had talked to Justin Morneau about that, because sometimes the numbers don't tell the whole story. I mean, how many of those balls were hit hard but out? Justin Morneau said, no. I do not see the ball when I face Kyle Davies. Those are legit numbers. Hold to Butler. He'll go to the bag himself, and it's a scoreless first for Kyle Davies. Brian Pena, who had the game-tying home run in the bottom of the ninth, will hit second. He'll be the designated hitter, so Miguel Olivo is behind the plate and hitting fourth. And Miguel who has always done better against left-hand pitching, is in there tonight because the Royals are facing a left-hand pitcher, 26-year-old Brian Dunsing. Here's the Kia scouting report.
Well, mid-90s fastball with slider versus lefties. That's always a good pitch. The solid changeup. That's the pitch he wants to go down and away from right-handers, and still developing a curveball. And Miguel will leave a home run on August 11th in Minneapolis. But a young pitcher, a lot of times with rookies, you just got to get on the board first. You get on the board first, you create a lot of tension, but you let them get 3 or 4 innings down the road with a lead, they just get stronger.
And a strike on David DeJesus, who was 1 for 4 with a home run last night. And he's got Brendan Harris way in on the grass at third base. And David doesn't bunt very often. But with that being said, the Twins are going to try and take it away if he does lay one down. You rarely see a third baseman playing like that with DeJesus at the plate.
Well, you think that Joey Gathride's batting with the third baseman in that. I know David had one bunt base hit on the road trip, but unlike you, Ryan, that's far and few between for him.
And that one bunt hit came on the last trip. Pretty good curveball for a strike. David has faced Dunsing once and reached with a base hit. The Royals pushed around Dunsing on August the 11th for 3 runs in an inning and 2/3. But don't have a whole lot of experience against him. Gomez fooled, but able to recover. And this is that time of day, and it's that time of year as the days are starting to get shorter. With the 6:10 start, the shadows are pretty complicated in center field, and Gomez having some trouble. There's that line where the shadows separate the sunlight, and it's easy to lose the ball.
Well, he did a real good job making the adjustment, but the reason he was able to make that adjustment, Ryan, was speed. If he didn't have that type of speed, that ball would have fell in for a base hit.
And now Brian Pena, who had one of the best at-bats we've seen all year. The Royals down to a knee on a 9 count. 2 outs. Nobody on, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pena working a full count and then shocking Joe Nathan and the Twins with a line drive home run to right to tie it.
Well, in the 9th inning like that, I don't think there's any greater feeling for a hitter than to hit a home run in the 9th inning, either tie or win a ball game.
KCA comes up from second base to throw out Brian, 2 down. He extended his hitting streak, by the way, to 12 games with that home run, and he only had 1 shot at it. That was his only plate appearance. So 2 up, 2 down, and now Billy Butler, who also homered last night. So the top 3 hitters in the lineup tonight all went deep last night. Butler homered in the first inning, his 15th of the year. DeJesus in the 3rd, and then Pena with the game-tying blast in the 9th. Two balls, no strikes.
Just got some information, Ryan. Billy Butler at age 23 has more home runs and RBI than Joe Mauer did his whole entire season at age 23. Doubles included in that. Not RBI, but doubles.
Gomez coming up to retire Butler, and the Royals down in order in the bottom of the 1st. Baseball brought to you tonight by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By AT&T, switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. And by Colorado Tourism, plan your summer vacation at colorado.com. That is the stadium barbecue here at Kauffman Stadium, one of the new features of new Kauffman Stadium. Ball one on Michael Kadire, who was 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts last night, and now in his last 2 series against the Royals, he's just 1 for 17. Kyle retired the first 2, walked Joe Mauer, and then got Kubel on a ground ball to first. So a quiet first inning for him, but now he's 3-0 on Kadire.
Kadire really has good power to right center field, and his hands are kind of low, so he may be in a situation where he's maybe trying to pull a little bit more, and that'll account for the 1 for 17 slump that he's in.
Drilled to deep left field. DeJesus back, and the Twins have taken a 1-0 lead. That's number 20 for Kadire.
The one thing about having a favorite pitch is you can throw it a little bit too much, and this changeup stayed up out over the plate, and Michael Kadire really jumped on it and drove it in the left field bullpen. But that's the one thing you got to mix all. You can't go fastball changeup. You got to use your curveball and some of the other pitches.
Oh, 0-1 now on Delman Young, who was hitless last night in 4 at-bats. Kyle giving up his 16th home run of the year. The Royals did not allow a home run last night, and that's notable because they had gone 13 consecutive games allowing at least 1 home run. Young went around 1 ball 2 strikes, and with the home run now from Kadire tonight, the Royals have allowed 29 home runs in their last, or have given up a home run, at least 1 home run in 29 of the last 31.
Well, you see there, Ryan, Kyle comes back with 2 straight curveballs. You got to mix all your pitches up. Those guys over there, they're smart enough to see you only using fastball and changeup, and now he comes back with 2 curveballs against Young to get the strikeout. And they say everything that goes fastball strike, he backs up with a changeup. So they sit, and anytime you get in hitting counts, you get the changeup. So you got to mix all your pitches in there to be effective.
So a good bounce back after the Kadire home run, and now 1 out to Brendan Harris, and a curveball had Harris bending back. Harris wasn't in there last night. Joe Creedy was at third base and was 0 for 4. A rare hitless game for Joe Creedy at Kauffman Stadium. And Davies tried to throw that last pitch through Miguel Olivo. 1-1.
Well, he's good for 3 or 4 of those a game where he just kind of leaves that arm hanging back there and almost throws the ball over the catcher. But I think that's a wake-up call. When you fall in love with a pitch, the other team's watching too. And now this inning, he's gone completely away from the changeup. Now he's throwing all curveballs. So he's still got to have a good mix.
Leads off that one, 2 balls 2 strikes. Bob McClure has been trying to get Royals pitchers lately to start pitching with their complete arsenal early in the game. Don't start saving pitches for the 2nd, 3rd time through the order. And Zach Greinke did that in a start during the last road trip. Now back-to-back strikeouts for Davies after the Kadire home run.
Just fastball in the outside corner after a series of curveballs. He was able to pinpoint that fastball, and that's the fastball command that you're looking for from Kyle Davies.
So 2 down, and now Carlos Gomez. And a curveball is in for strike 1. Remember, Zach Greinke had that start against Jared Washburn in Detroit when Zach went 7 shutout innings, and the Royals lost that game 1-0. Well, Zach really didn't hold anything back. He was pitching with everything from the very first inning, and Bob McClure took that as an example that he's hoping the other pitchers would do that. And maybe it's also a result of, this late in the season and later now in pitchers' careers, they have an idea of what you throw. So there really aren't going to be any surprises. So you might as well show them everything you got.
I mean, that's what pitching's all about. I mean, I don't see how you can save a pitch for later anyway. I think you just got to go hitter by hitter, what they can and cannot hit, and what you have. If you have 4 pitches, you got to go with what you can command. I think it's hard to command 4 pitches and throw them anywhere you want them at any time, but you got to have at least 2 that you're commanding and being able to move the ball around. And I agree with Bob. I said you got to be willing to pitch right from the very first hitter.
I mean, you have a bad inning in the first or second inning. Sure, it's early, but if it's a big enough inning, that might be a crippling inning for the team. I mean, a type of inning you never recover from.
Well, as many times as they play each other, you have to be able to be versatile. You got to know when to make that change, and that's what hitters on the other team look for is when you get into a pattern. And as long as you stay in the pattern, that's why good pitches get hit. And then you say, okay, I got to first time around, maybe the first 2 or 3 hitters. The next guy, you just keep changing back and forth.
And Kyle ends up striking out the side after the Kadire home run. So Kyle has struck out 4. On the right, enjoying a hot dog, is Heather Claybrook. She performed the national anthem before tonight's game and now enjoying the game. Miguel Olivo leads off the bottom of the second inning. Miguel faced Dunsing twice when the Royals were in Minnesota on the last trip and had 2 hits, including a home run. One hop to Harris, who was right at the bag. So 2 pitches and 1 down. Here's tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Who do you think is the best closer in the American League Central? Bobby Jenks of the White Sox, who has blown only 4 saves. Joe Nathan, also 4, including last night. Fernando Rodney, 1 blown save all year. Or Joaquim Soria, who has 2. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, a space, and then A, B, C, or D. And standard text rates apply. So Dunsing has retired the first 4. Ball 1 on Alberto Callaspo, who had a 2-hit game. And a couple of Royals coming up here in the second inning that are much better against the lefties than they are against the righties. Callaspo, a .296 hitter overall, but on this side of the plate he hits .374. And he adds to that average with a base hit to left field.
He has a nice short compact swing right-handed where he's a little longer left-handed, and it's just hard to get inside on him. He just throws the head of the bat on the ball, and we've seen him get a lot of hits in that hole this year.
Yeah, the average from the right side of the plate, the power from the left side. 5 of Alberto's 7 home runs as a lefty. So 1 on, 1 out. And now Mark Teahen thinking about laying one down. Didn't get a very good pitch to bunt. Mark 0 for 5 last night, but hit the ball hard in the bottom of the 10th inning when he lined to Denard Span in right field, and that ended the game. And it also happened with tying runner at second base and the winning run at first. One and one. A couple of pitches up and in, and Frank, you've talked so often about that's a pitch that giving Teahen a bad time, and at this point in the season the league knows all about that.
Well, they do, and I think the first pitch he tried to bunt, Dunsink was trying to get that pitch there too, but you got to be able to take a strike when you square the bunt. It's same as swinging. I think when Harris charged in from third, if he just hit that ball solid, it might have bunted it over his head
for a double.
Well, it goes back to my theory: don't try anything in the game that you don't first practice.
And just because you square around a bunt doesn't mean you have to bunt. It still has to be a good pitch to bunt. And that hit Teahen. So the Royals have runners at first and second, 1 out. Mitch Meyer coming up. Well, the next Independence Honda Buck Night and Hy-Vee Pepsi fireworks are coming up on the next homestand Friday, September the 4th. The Angels will be in town. It's a 7:10 game. The gates will open at 5. So you can start the weekend early here at Kauffman Stadium. You'll enjoy $1 Pepsis, hot dogs, peanuts, and game day magazines with a fireworks spectacular after the game. Strike one to Mitch Meyer. 1 for 5, scored a run, also struck out twice last night and was ready to go, but stepped out for a moment to check in with third base coach Dave Owen. He has Callaspo at second base, Teahen at first with 1 out. Off the fist, and that leads KCA right to the bag and into a double play. So the Royals scoreless in the second. Minnesota leads 1-0. Michael Kadire leading off the second inning with a home run. Minnesota in front 1-0. And it'll be AT KCA, Denard Span, and Orlando Cabrera in the third. And a fastball right by KCA, strike one. KCA batting just 187, but last night 2 hits, including a double. He laid down a sac bunt, scored twice. Didn't mean to go around, and he ends up with a base hit. Not bad for less than a half swing.
That was a good check swing on the sweet spot of the bat. His head's right on it. Then he says, I don't want this pitch. And that's like playing Pepper right there, right back through the middle.
KCA is 8 for 8 in stolen base attempts this year. So Kyle begins his second time to the order. Denard Span opened the game with a pop up to short. Here's tonight's Roadrunner Turbo Speed Pitch comparison. And in the first 2 innings, Kyle Davies topped out at 94, Brian Dunsing at 93. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. 0-1 on Denard Span.
So we're talking a little bit about center fielders going to right field and the difference that he makes. I was talking to Denard Span about he's basically a center fielder playing right field, and he said the toughest thing for him was going into the right center field alley. You know, just make sure you're taking the right angle. You get kind of used to going across when you got to remember to go back, but that was his toughest adjustment in right field.
Well, and we've gone over this before that your center fielder is normally your best outfielder, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a good outfielder when they move over to a corner.
No, because you got to remember in left field, right-handers balls hook to the corner, and then if they hit even going in the alley, sometimes they'll hook back to you. Lefties will slice and hook back to you, and right field, like the base hit that Cabrera got last night, he had to reach for it. He got off the end of the bat kind of, and it had a lot of spin on it. So when the ball hit, normally it hits and come up, but this one on Willie Bloomquist hit and jumped to the outfield side to the foul side of the foul line, and that's because of the amount of spin that was on the ball. So and Willie's played center, left, and right, so he's pretty much seen it all. But go ahead.
And you don't see that spin in center field.
No, you don't. You know, because that ball just basically is come right at you when it's in center field. That's why they say center field. Other than the amount of territory you have to cover, you don't have to deal with the balls hooking and slicing as much as the corner guys.
Two and two on Span. And there's Coco Crisp, who's back with the team now after having surgery on both of his shoulders. It would appear right now that the Royals have a center fielder in right and a right fielder in center. But for the moment, Trey Hillman wants Josh Anderson to break in right because center field is so big here at Kauffman Stadium and not quite as familiar with the ballpark as Mitch Meyer is at this point. But at some point, the Royals do want to turn center field over to Josh Anderson and see what he can do.
But I think that's what everybody's sort of waiting on to see exactly how. I've only seen him in center field for managing against him in Double-A, but with Detroit, he was playing mainly in left field. So this is his first right field duty, with the Royals so far.
KCA wanted to run on that pitch, but he stumbled after about 2 steps. And he takes off again, and that's ball 4. So runners at first and second and nobody out. Well, Big 12 football returns to Fox Sports Kansas City in September. Tomorrow we'll give you an inside look at KU, K-State, Mizzou, Iowa State, and Nebraska's upcoming seasons. Our college football previews air tomorrow starting at 3 p.m. here on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Well, tomorrow, Ron, you'll have Mizzou at Illinois. They'll be playing in St. Louis, and that's on September 5th. And then in Northern Colorado at KU, UMass at K-State.
Well, it didn't take very long for that guy to get a Brett Favre Vikings jersey.
Well, there's going to be a lot of those.
Well, the Twins have options here. Cabrera's a good bunter, controls the bat well. The Royals are expecting a bunt. Billy Butler right now could reach out and touch Cabrera. He's so close in at first base.
Well, the Royals really don't have a play on. If he squares, I guess Billy being that close would be the first one to charge. Martinez got to make sure that that ball's bunted hard enough to third before he commits to getting the ground ball, because they want the play to be at third if he bunts. It might be a situation here with Mauer coming up next that Ron Garhire doesn't want him to get intentionally walked.
Meyer gets behind it in center field. KCA back to the bag to tag, but he's just going to force a throw. So Cabrera does not advance the runners. One down. And that brings up Joe Mauer, who walked in the first inning. Well, as far as batting average goes in the major leagues, Mauer is the best at .378. But in situations like this, he gets even better. .390 with runners in scoring position. There's only two other hitters in the American League that are better. And look at Jason Bartlett, .430.
That's what you call turning your career around as a hitter.
Bartlett coming over from the Twins a couple of off seasons ago with Matt Garza, and those two helped the Rays go to the World Series. Minnesota getting Delman Young and Brendan Harris. Popped up. Mauer got a pitch that was up, didn't get on top of it, and Betancourt makes the play. So KCA still at second base, Span still at first, and now two down.
Well, Mauer really felt he had this fastball centered, Ryan. He just got under just a little bit. His swing got a little long, and here's Yuniesky Betancourt. You know, the one thing that you can't do is block your face. You know, he's had too much of the glove over his eyes. He realized that I got to move my head the other way and get out of the way of this ball.
And now Jason Kubo, who grounded out to first his first time up, and he was having trouble with Davies' changeup in that first inning, and no surprise, that's the first pitch he sees here in the third. That's into shallow center. Meyer diving. It's off his glove. KCA scores. Here comes Span around third. And no relay. Minnesota takes a 3-0 lead.
The changeup first pitch, and this is a fastball down. Kubel stayed with it and sliced it in the left center field. And Meyer just wasn't able to get there. Went right off the end of his glove. You see him coming across. He lays out for it. Just couldn't quite get there. Game of inches.
And a changeup for a strike on Michael Kadire, who was ahead in the count 3-0 back in the second inning. Took a couple of pitches for strikes and then got a 3-2 changeup against Kyle Davies and whacked it to left field for his 20th home run of the year. That ball's hit hard to center. Meyer to the front of the warning track to end the inning. But with 2 outs, Jason Kubel drives in 2, and it's 3-0 Minnesota. Team technically won the state relays at the K-State High School Track and Field Championships in Wichita, but showed there's more to sports than winning or losing when they gave their medals to the team from St. Mary's Colgan. Apparently St. Mary's had a runner that had a chance to win, but the team was disqualified when a runner collapsed during the run, so the Maranatha relay team gave the medals to St. Mary's.
That's outstanding.
Gomez handles the fly ball from Unievsky Betancourt, 1 down in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
That's just really just knowing inside that you won, but you also did something to help the other school also. That's very commendable.
And Buck would have said to those 4 ladies, enjoy my seats tonight. So they are. A bunt, and Dunsing cuts it off. KCA has to come over from second base, and he's not there in time.
And all this is right here. This is not a very good bunt by Anderson here. Dunsing does a good job, but Kadir, not having a lot of experience at first base, really overcommitted on this play. And if he stays back at first, it's an easy play for the pitcher. And just a misread, and here you just didn't get that toe in the bag. KCA just definitely missed it. Tried to go back for the second tag, but too much momentum going. But when you're playing first base, and if that drag bunt's not right down the line to you, then you got to hold tight and give the pitcher and second baseman an opportunity to make the play. Once you leave, there's a foot race between the pitcher and the runner, and the pitcher usually loses.
Especially when Josh Anderson's running. David flied to center in the 1st inning. Josh Anderson with 15 stolen bases this year with the Royals and the Tigers combined. And Jesus is hit by a pitch. So for the 2nd straight inning with 1 out, a single and a hit batter, and 2 on.
Well, this is an interesting reaction from David right here. He goes as if the ball is belt high, and he lets that elbow dip down below. He should have spun away from this pitch or leaned back away from this pitch, but he looked as if it was down belt high and inside, but the ball's up over his letter. So that was a little interesting maneuver by David.
I caught part of your three-way debate with Split and Jamie about what the Royals should focus on for next year. Your focus was the middle of the infield because you need to be able to turn double plays, and Dunsing was able to get out of the second inning with 2 on 1 out, getting Mitch Meyer to bounce into a double play. And now pitches inside to Brian Pena, who bats in the same situation. Runners first and second, 1 out.
Yeah, basically just getting more athletic. Those two guys up the middle cover more ground than anyone on the infield, just like your center fielder and the outfielder. So you got to be able to be stronger, more athletic from catcher all the way out to your center fielder.
It's 2-0 on Brian, who grounded out to second base in the first inning. Well, if you were to listen to the three arguments collectively, I don't think anyone would disagree that every team is strong up the middle. What Split wanted
was the
center field.
Yeah.
Jamie, no surprise, wanted catcher, and
I was with Jamie all the way on the catching also. I just really felt like, we've had a ton of wild pitches, pass balls, and I think you always have to. That's part of playing defense. So you get better there, then you go out to your middle infielder, and then you go on out to center field. So that's if you have strength up the middle, guys who are playing primarily every day, then you guys should get better, and your team should get better. But the thing is, giving those extra outs on double, and you can't always assume a double play, but you've got to make more than you don't make.
Well, maybe not according to the official score, but at this level, I think you can start assuming double plays.
Well, you have to. I think you really do. If the double play is complete, where the ball is received at second base, you get a strong throw to first base that's very catchable, and the base runner beats it out. That's one thing.
Dunsing got a glove on it, so no double play, but the Twins are lucky to get 1 out. That thing was headed for center field. So it goes 1-4-3. The Royals avoid the double play, and 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs.
Well, Brian stays on his fastball, and I'll tell you what, being on the glove side, he was able to get, stop it a little bit, at least that glove plus the mound at the same time, and that really made a big difference in this ball being a 4-3 versus, a 1-4-3 versus being a base hit to center field.
So 2 in scoring position for Billy Butler, who's hitting .299 overall, and even better than that with runners in scoring position. He has Anderson at third, DeJesus at second. Dunsing hits the outside corner. Billy flied to center in the first inning. Out in front of a changeup, and it's 0-2. That was a classic case right there of a hitter putting a fastball swing on a changeup.
Yeah, normally Billy's straight away in the right center on a fastball, but that was an outstanding changeup, moving down and away.
Got him to chase a fastball up and away. Everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customizable features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. Way upstairs, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, are they trying to spell F-S-N-N?
FSN.
Oh, FSN exclamation mark. Well, they got to get with it. We're not FSN anymore. Through the right side, KCA diving on the grass, He just saved a run. And Billy Butler taking out his frustrations on the helmet.
Well, this ball just took a real big hop, and he did a great job filling it, getting to his feet, and making a strike throw to first.
Fourth inning, 3-0 Minnesota. And before the Twins come up, let's take a look at tonight's league leaders. Brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers and the National League wild card. And two surprise teams this year. The Rockies, who are trying to chase down the Dodgers in the West, have a one-game lead over the Giants, who have been a huge surprise in the National League, followed by the Marlins. And you can also call the Cubs a surprise that they're that far back. Cubs were supposed to run away with the Central. They are 7 games behind St. Louis in the National League Central. 2 balls, no strikes to Delman Young, who struck out in the second inning. That was right after Michael Kadire homered. Kyle Davies then struck out the next 3. In the third inning, Minnesota added 2 more on a Jason Kubel 2-run double. Right at Josh Anderson in right field, 1 down. Going back to that Delman Young strikeout in the second inning. That's tonight's Arby's pitch by pitch.
Kyle Davis starts him off with a fastball, Ryan, and just trying to get that fastball established. He came with another, and this is when he decided to go away from the changeup to the curveball, and that's what he got him struck out on.
And then he went on to strike out Brendan Harris, who steps in with 1 out. You got Harris looking at a fastball. That ball barely reached home plate. One and one. Curveball stayed up and in. Kyle has struck out 4. He has walked 2. Betancourt, nice play on a backhand, and throws him out by 3 steps.
Well, this is an all or none play here. This is where he's just trying to get everything out of the way and play. The move that he made that was really good was how he made his hand come up, because the ball's got top spin on it, so it's going to hit and come up. He did a good job of meeting it at his highest point and got up and make a nice strike throw to Billy.
And now Gomez chasing a pitch up about chin level and fouls it away. Royals baseball brought to you tonight by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Now there's a perfect example of where Gomez is right now in his career. Swinging at a pitch that was at his chin and fouling it away, and then taking a fastball for a strike across the knees. The Twins would like to see it the other way around.
It just seems like a hitter that's kind of searching, Ryan. That doesn't really focus on a pitch. He's just sort of looking for a ball and then making his mind up whether he's going to swing or not swing. And I mean, that's because he's trying to overswing and trying to hit the ball too hard rather than just trying to put the ball in play.
Made him look bad on a curveball, so Davies strikes him out again, and that's Kyle's first 1-2-3 inning. Against left-hander Brian Dunsing. He got a leave on a ground ball to third in the second inning. In the last two innings, the Royals have had runners at first and second and one out, but Dunsing got Meyer to ground into a double play in the second inning. And then two ground balls to get out of the third, including a spectacular play at second base by AT KCA on a ground ball from Billy Butler. Olivo's success against left-hand pitching goes all the way back to his first major league at-bat when he was playing for the White Sox in 2002. He hit a home run off of Andy Pettitte, becoming the 83rd player in major league history to hit a home run in his first big league at-bat. That hit the railing. And Olivo's still alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. While we have a moment, let's check out You Call It Again, presented by Sprint, asking you who you think the best closer is in the American League Central. And 41% going with Joakim Soria, who doesn't have quite the save opportunities this year as the other three because Soria spent some time on the disabled list. Fernando Rodney coming in second. Rodney having a very good year for the first place Tigers. Olivo is down on strikes, and that's the first strikeout for Dunsing. Don't forget about Royal Nights here at Kauffman Stadium. That means $5 upper level seats every Monday except for September the 21st. And it features view level infield, high V box, and high view level seats for $5 a piece. Ball one on Alberto Callaspo, who has one of the 2 hits for the Royals, single to left in the second inning. Brian Dunsing was born in Kansas, Marysville, Kansas, which is just south of the Kansas-Nebraska border. He actually grew up in Omaha and then played his college ball at the University of Nebraska, where he was a teammate of Alex Gordon. He was taken by Minnesota in the 3rd round of 2005. May have gone in the 1st or 2nd round, but the year before he was drafted, he had Tommy John surgery on his left elbow. Gives up his first walk tonight. He's hit a couple of batters. So 1 on 1 out in the 4th inning. And that brings up Mark Teahen, who was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning. That put runners at 1st and 2nd with 1 out, but Dunsing got Mitch Meyer to ground into a double play. And now he's missed with 5 in a row, and Joe Mauer wants to go out and talk about that.
I think part of catching is timing and just knowing when to go out there and do that. You know, like last night, going out when Nathan was struggling on the mound and just trying to get through it. He knew the exact time to go out, slow things down, let him catch his breath. He's got a young pitcher on the mound and just trying to get him through this. So it's all about timing when you're back there. That's where the leadership qualities come in.
1 ball, 1 strike. You know, I was thinking too, as that pitch was thrown, and Mauer is a big man, and he gives the pitcher a nice big target. I mean, look how small his glove looks. But if a pitcher is looking for a bigger target and using the chest protector, and for some pitchers who don't have pinpoint control, they look for a bigger target around the smaller target, and that's why some guys like to pitch to a big catcher.
Well, a lot of catchers have been big in the past. When you go back to Carlton Fisk and Lance Parrott, Johnny Bench, you know, Dale Murphy when he first came up, all big guys.
Teahen again showing bunt. This time lays it down, and Dunsing's throw is late. Pretty good play by Dunsing coming off the mound and made a good throw, but Teahen beats it out. So that's 3 straight innings now. The Royals have 2 on with 1 out.
I think it's just refreshing to see the versatility and that the hitters are using, like Mark Teahen right here. I mean, this is an outstanding bunt, and he was able to beat it out. But you know, it just being able to just come up there and say, okay, you know, maybe I don't see the ball well out of his hand. Maybe he's able to get inside on him a little bit, but just be able to use that imagination and take advantage of what the defense is giving you.
And now ball 1 on Mitch Meyer, who batted with this same situation in the 2nd inning, and Dunsing got him to ground into a double play.
Well, Mitch has got to move the ball out, move it out over the plate a little bit more. The ball inside, he's not getting to it quick enough, and that's why they're trying to jam him up with it. But just make sure you know that pitch is a ball inside and start taking it.
1 ball, 1 strike. And in the last 3 innings with 2 base runners, the Royals have combined a hit with a free pass. Dunsing hitting a runner in the 2nd and in the 3rd inning, and now walking a batter here in the 4th. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This is only Dunsing's 2nd start this year. He's made 14 appearances out of the bullpen, and he is starting tonight only because Francisco Liriano was recently placed on the disabled list. And he almost hit his third batter tonight. It's 2-2 on Meyer. So you wonder how long he's going to be able to go, making just his second start. And it's his second start in almost a month against the White Sox back on July the 29th. He only went 5 innings. Strikes out Meyer. They got him with a fastball that was up. So 2 down. And now Yuniesky Betancourt, who flied out to center field in the 3rd inning. On the ground, right to Cabrera, force out at second base. And the Royals strand 2 more in the 4th. Three to nothing, and the big stat right now, the Royals have stranded 5 in 4 innings. So they've had their opportunities tonight against Brian Dunsing. 3 straight innings, though, 2 on, 1 out, and the Royals haven't been able to score.
Well, they're still searching for that big base hit, and Kyle Davies, with the exception of the home run Kadire and a 2-run double off the glove of Mitch Meyer by Kubel, has been hanging in there pretty good. But it goes back to just getting that big base hit, and Dunsing really helped himself out against Pena. He hit a hard ball back through the middle that he was able to knock down and turn into an out, and that would have definitely gotten the Royals 1 run on the board.
Josh Anderson to the line, right on the line. They're going to call that a foul ball catch. So KCA is out. He's 1 for 2. So 1 out for Kyle Davies in the 5th inning. Let's take a look at his pitch count, brought to you by James B. Nutter and Company. 73, and not quite the strike to ball ratio that he would like. It's pretty even. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts for Kyle. And now ball 1 in the dirt to Denard Span. Span popped out in the 1st, then walked and scored in Minnesota's 2-run 3rd. And now he pops up to shallow left field, and David DeJesus calling off Betancourt. So 4 pitches, 2 down in the 5th inning. Much bigger crowd tonight than last night. The Royals were giving away a cap before tonight's game. And with it being a weekend series, that means a lot of Minnesota fans driving down I-35 to watch some outdoor baseball. There's one of the 40th anniversary caps picked by the fans. Ball one on Cabrera.
Yeah, we were talking before the game that it's lucky they gave these white hats out on a night game than on a Sunday afternoon game. It make it tough on the players to see the ball.
You're saying one game they gave away white helmets during a day game?
That's back when they used to have helmet day. They gave away white helmets on Sunday afternoon one time. That wasn't very smart right there, but they don't. I don't think they have helmet day anymore, do they? They used to give away those plastic helmets. I wonder if the Twins fans took the white hat today.
Sure. It's a friendly rivalry. Bounce to Betancourt. So Davies gets through the Twins quickly in the 5th inning and only needs 8 pitches. Panera Bread. Explore a menu full of soups, salads, sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. Now, Brian Dunsing with 4 shutout innings on just 3 singles. And one of those hits coming from Josh Anderson on a bunt back in the 3rd inning. The Royals stranding 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 2 more in the 4th. And a curveball makes it no balls, 2 strikes. Eventually, the Royals might be looking at Josh Anderson as a potential leadoff man with his speed and his ability to bunt. So this is somewhat of an audition. He's hitting 9th tonight, but leading off the inning. Try and get on, try and get something going, and he lines it into center field. So down in the count, Anderson strokes his 2nd hit of the night.
And that's just a good swing right there. The ball's out and away from him. He stays in there, keeps that front shoulder in, and just hits a line drive into left center field. And that's what Josh Anderson is going to have to do. Line drives, hard ground balls, try to keep the ball out of the air, and just try to get on base and use his speed.
So 15 stolen bases, thrown out 4 times. When Josh was on in the 3rd inning, never really got a look at Dunsing's move. In fact, the Royals haven't really gotten a look at his move yet. And this is only the 2nd game that the Royals have seen Brian Dunsing. De Jesus chased a pitch that might have hit him if he didn't swing.
Well, he's been able to get that fastball up and into those lefties, and they look to have a hard time picking it up. And Meyer had one, and Tien, David the first time up, and there's another one there.
There are some very odd shadows out there. I mean, half the wall in the shadows, half in the sunlight. The same with the stone wall behind that and the batter's eye behind that. Through the left side off of Cabrera's glove. Anderson stops at second base. So now for the fourth consecutive inning, the Royals have 2 base runners.
Both Anderson and Jesus both have done a good job standing on that ball away and hitting it away and not trying to roll over and pull it. And they had him played up the middle, and that's why he was able to get this ball by.
Well, the question becomes now, how do you play it? Do you sit back and wait for a big inning against Dunsing, who has given up 5 hits? Or does Brian Pena lay one down? Brian Pena, of course, has a 12-game hitting streak. And Trey wants him to bunt, and it's a good bunt. So the runners move up. Second and third, one away. Seems like every day Brian Pena finds little ways to add to his value.
That was a great bunt. Just a little soft touch right out in front of the plate. And he just picked a good pitch and got it right on the end of the bat and laid it right out in a perfect spot.
Billy Butler so far is 0 for 2. Probably feels like he should be 1 for 2 with an RBI, but he lost a hit and an RBI back in the third inning on a diving play by KCA in shallow right field. One ball, one strike. Well, the Royals would like to see Butler add to his double total and drive in 2, but if he gets down in the count, all he needs is a ground ball, as Minnesota will trade a run for an out. Their infield is all the way back, especially up the middle. It looked like he was taking a shot to the opposite field and missed.
Good fastball on the outside corner. He might have been sitting change up that way, but that was a pitcher's pitch there. Now he's just got to settle down and really slow things down and try to get that ground ball and get the RBI. So the real focus is mainly to try to get something up in this situation and drive it to the outfield. But with those infields in the middle back, the ground ball to be just as valuable right now to the Royals.
Joe Mauer wanted that pitch up, trying to get Billy to chase something up and out of the strike zone.
A lot of times they want that drastic of pitch up. They want to change the eye level, and it might be a good time to throw the changeup that runs down and away. Try to get his eyes focused high, and then take him the other way.
And he went with the changeup away and didn't get the corner. So 2-2 to Butler. Anderson opened the inning with a single, followed by David DeJesus single, and then Brian Pena moved him up with a bunt.
I can't see Dunsing really giving in to Billy as hot as he's been. I think they're trying to get something down underneath the swing.
Just got a piece of it. That's former Royal Bobby Keppel throwing with Dunsing at 69 pitches, which of course isn't a lot, but remember this is just his second start, so he doesn't have He's not conditioned for a big pitch count.
Yeah, we played that last pitch to see how Billy rolled over on that changeup away. What Joe Mauer is doing is he wants to get him out of the way, but he's jumping inside, and just before the pitch is made, then he's jumping back outside.
Well, this is a big pitch and a big batter, with Butler representing the tying run. This is also the third time through the order for the Royals, so they've gotten a good look at Dunsing tonight. And Ron Gardenhire thinking along those lines. That's why he has Bobby Keppel warming up in the bullpen. And Billy fouls it away again. Always nice when Cheech Marin comes to the ballpark. Popped up. Mauer and Kadire to the Royals dugout, and it's in the dugout. Now Billy has fouled off 4 in this at bat, including the last 3.
He's had 2 pretty good pitches to hit. To get two balls up out over the plate to drive to the outfield, and he's fouled them both back. I'm surprised he's giving him that good a pitch to hit with first base open.
Anderson at third to Jesus at second. The Royals have already stranded 5 in the first 4 innings. Again, didn't get the corner.
Now this is last night. The pitch down and in. He was able to pull it into the left center field bleachers. So if they go inside, they got to have something going in real hard and with them down to it. If it hangs a little bit, he can get inside of that pitch.
Struck him out. And the thought, or the swing rather, was more like an afterthought. A very late swing. Dunsing strikes out his third, and that's his biggest so far tonight.
And this is what you call mislocation here. Mauer wanted his pitch down and in, so watch where his pitch goes. Backed up on the outside corner. He makes a perfect pitch when his aim was somewhere else.
Okay, now Miguel Olivo, who has grounded out to third and struck out so far. And he takes one right down the middle at 94. So Dunsing's pitch count is up, but he is not tiring at all, still throwing in the mid-90s. Reaches out and pokes it to right field. That'll drop. And now Span having trouble in the corner. Olivo drives into, is thinking about a triple, but holds at second base. So it's a 1-run game. And the Royals, with base runners all over the place in the last 4 innings, finally get the hit they've been waiting for.
Well, it's sort of identical to Cabrera's hit last night. He sort of reached out and just put a little spin on it. The ball goes down the right field line. Span gets too close to it, and you can tell how when he hit ball like that, how it bounces to the right, to the foul territory, and he just didn't have enough room to bend over. It probably would bump his head on the wall. So that's how that play happened against the Royals last night.
That's the same type of kick that the ball took on Willie Bloomquist in the 10th inning last night. Right-hand batter slicing towards the line.
Right, he had to reach for it, and when you reach for it, you're just catching it on the end and halfway through your swing, and that spin's always going to take it to the foul side. If it's a solid, that's the one that usually bounces right up to the right fielder.
Mauer keeps it in front of him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cayaspo is single to left and walked against Dunsing. And now 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, Dunsing might not be stretched out like a starter typically would be, but he is stretching out tonight. If you consider his last outing, he went 16 pitches, and the one before that, he went 43. And this is his 79th pitch, a 2-1 to Cayaspo. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Only had 1 easy inning. That was the first. Got the Royals 1, 2, 3, but the Royals had 2 runners in the second, 2 in the third, 2 more in the fourth. Didn't score in any of those 3 innings. And with 2 outs and 2 on in the fifth, Miguel Olivo driving in 2 with a double. And now Cayaspo that's cut off by Cabrera to end the inning. The Royals are right back in it as Olivo drives in 2 in the fifth. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer, and if not for this play by AT KCA in the 3rd inning, this game might be tied, taking a base hit and an RBI away from Billy Butler. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Now, a tough night for Billy on offense. 0 for 3 with a strikeout, but Miguel Olivo picks him up with the 2-run double. So Kyle Davies down by 1. He'll get Joe Mauer, Jason Kubel, and Michael Kadire in the top of the 6th inning. And a curveball in for strike 1. Mauer walked in the first and then batted with 2 on and 1 out in the third, but Davies making a good pitch on Mauer and getting him on a pop-up to short, but then Kubel hit a 2-run double. So very similar to the Royals' bottom of the 5th inning, where the big bat in the middle of the order was retired, but the next hitter coming through with 2 outs. Did he go around? He did, but the ball got away from Olivo. So a strikeout and a wild pitch, and Mauer's at first base.
Well, on this play here, Olivo assumed that this is going to be a ball, and he waited like Meyer waited to see whether the third base umpire was going to say he swung or not. If he gets on his pitch right away, he still may not have a play at first, but it just looks better.
And we just witnessed the equivalent of a baseball Haley's Comet with Joe Mauer on a check swing going too far. Kubel off the end of the bat, and Anderson breaking back first and making the catch. I don't know if it's myth or reality, but apparently Joe Mauer has done that fewer than 10 times in his entire career.
Well, that should tell Kyle Davis you got a pretty good curveball. And I think he does. I think he's got a real good curveball.
Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ball one on Michael Kadire. He's had 2 good swings against Davies tonight. Homering to left field in the second inning and then flying out to deep center in the third. Two balls, no strikes. And with his 20th home run, the Twins have 4 20 home run hitters for the first time since 1987. They won the World Series that year over the Cardinals, and that was Kent Herbeck, Tom Bernanski, Gary Gaetti, and Kirby Puckett. And the Twins also have 5 hitters with at least 10 home runs for the first time since '87. Kadire walks on 4 pitches, so 2 on, 1 out. Don't forget, Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp is next February at the Royals Spring Training Home in Surprise, Arizona. $3,700 includes hotel, all ground transportation, 2 meals a day, 2 uniforms, 2 games a day, plus a game against the former major leaguers. And the roster this year includes Frank and George, John Mayberry, Dennis Leonard, Willie Wilson, Jeff Montgomery, Brett Saberhagen, Steve Balboni, and many, many more. You'll locker in the Major League Clubhouse with all the amenities, and you'll be taken care of by the Major League Clubhouse and training staff. Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp. Ron Mahay and Roman Colon just starting to loosen up as Bob McClure goes out to chat with Miguel Olivo, Kyle Davies, and now the home plate umpire Jerry Davis. Delman Young is struck out. He's flied out to right. That looked like the cutter.
That might have been the cutter. It moves just a little bit to the outside. Velocity 89. That's about right for it.
Maybe again. So breaking out another pitch.
Well, since the changeup was hit for a home run, it's been pretty much extinct. You just haven't seen many at all. He's gone more to the curveball and now to the cutter, and utilizing his 94 mile-an-hour fastball maybe as an effect pitch.
That's the fastball outside. Mauer at second base, Kadire at first. And a cutter is pulled to short. Out at second. Callaspo's throw late. Didn't get much on the throw. And out comes Trey Hillman to argue with first base umpire Bruce Dreckman. First and third, 2 down.
Well, this play right here, Bedcourt does what he does the best job he can do. Now, see, if you can freeze it right there, Casper really had his hips locked on this play. The left leg has got to be behind the right leg so he can get a clear path down to first base. But he was able to make an accurate throw, and that's a pretty, I mean, to be able to have that balance and get kicked like that, Billy does a good job picking it out of the dirt. But that's a close one to call.
So runners at first and third. And the batter is Brendan Harris. No balls, one strike. This is an important batter and inning for Kyle Davies. The Royals just got him back into the game. Down 3-0 at the end of 2.5. And the Royals getting 2 in the bottom of the 5th to make it a 1-run game. And the last thing Kyle wants to do is allow the Twins to answer. Harris is struck out and then grounded out hard to Yuniesky Betancourt in the 4th inning. Off the end of the bat, and Minnesota gets a run back. Looked like that might have been the cutter again, but this one stayed up and out over the plate. Harris drives in his 31st of the year.
But the one thing about what Kyle's doing, Ryan, he's finding something that he likes, but he's pretty much staying with it exclusively. And when you do that, you just take the hitters out over the plate with you. And you throw cutter after cutter, they're going to pick up on it. You still got to mix and match your pitches and keep him off those, what you literally want to get him out with.
Mayhay to face Gomez. Gomez, and Kyle made him look bad twice, striking him out on a fastball in the 2nd, a curveball in the 4th. And Trey going with a left-hander, Ron Mayhay, against the right-hand hitting Gomez.
That's pretty early, 92 pitches for Kyle. So that's normally he's around the 110 mark, 115.
Gomez comes up with Young at second base, Harris at first. Hit hard to center field. So Young to the plate. The throw goes to third. Harris beats that. And it's 5-2. So no one was happier to see Ron Mayhay on the mound than Carlos Gomez after Davies embarrassed him in his first 2 at-bats.
Just fastball down and right down the middle. Now he's one of those guys that right now you probably don't want to throw a strike the first pitch the way he chases those high fastballs. But that was right down in his wheelhouse.
Almost threw that ball away.
I think Jerry White's just get caught standing flat-footed over there.
Over Butler's glove and up the right field line. So Harris scores. Gomez goes first to third. And now it's 6-2. All the runs are charged to Kyle Davies.
What you call it, a pitch up. Probably was a ball, but he was able to get on top of it and beat it down in the ground. And Billy playing in near the bag just got over his head and just inside the line and down the line.
So this move has really backfired for the Royals. Now it's one thing if Gomez was 0 for 2 with a couple of lineouts, but he was all mixed up. At least it appeared that way against Kyle Davies tonight. And as you pointed out, 93 pitches isn't a high pitch count, and this is a great night to pitch. 79 degrees at first pitch. It's cooled down since then. It's 1-1 on Denard Span.
I think it just gets down to whether or not Kyle Davies at 93 pitches at this point against Gomez is better than Ron Mayhew coming out of the bullpen.
2 balls, 1 strike. This inning began with a strikeout of Joe Mauer, and that doesn't happen very often, but the ball got away from Miguel Olivo, and Mauer reached on a wild pitch, then a 1-out walk. The Royals unable to turn a double play, which would have ended the inning on a ground ball from Delman Young. And now 3 consecutive RBI singles. The Royals had just scored 2 in the bottom of the 5th to make it a 1-run game, and now Minnesota has an even bigger lead than they did before the Royals scored 2. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Span won't go away.
Everything Ron's throwing to lefties is pretty much up out over the plate, and it doesn't have a lot of deception. Just looking at how the left-handers react, and if you maybe get to the outer half, it may be a lot more effective.
Well, he doesn't have a huge advantage against the lefties this year. He's a little better than he is against righties, but lefties still hitting .282. And Mayhay throws out Span. That's the inning. But with 2 outs, Minnesota adds 3 to take a 4-run lead.
The roll the trailing 6-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th, and this is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Perry Rogers from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Perry, you will win $600. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Perry will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
And Bobby Keppel, who's pitched with the Royals back in '06, takes over with a 4-run lead. So Brian Densing in a spot start with Liriano going on the disabled list, goes 5 innings and gives up just 2 runs. Keppel's last outing was on Thursday at Texas, and he gave up 3 straight RBI doubles. A strike on Mark Teahan. So he's trying to shake that off tonight. Teahan's been hit by a pitch, and he has a bunt single. There is never really ever a time when you consider it acceptable to allow runs. But the worst time to allow runs is right after your team scores and gets you back in the game.
Yeah, that'll deflate the offense and defense if you go back and forth.
And Teahan inside the line and down into the corner. So Bobby Keppel, the last 4 batters he has faced have all doubled. Teahan is 2 for 2.
They were trying to get that ball up and in on Mark again, but left it down, and he was able to get the bat head above the ball and just right inside the foul line down the right field line. Then it just comes a matter of how well they play the wall when it gets down in there between a double and a triple.
You know, Frank, we were talking earlier about Joe Mauer and the timing of when to go out to the mound. He's back behind home plate now, but as soon as the play was over, Joe Mauer was on the mound talking to Bobby Keppel, probably thinking back on what he did in his last outing on Thursday and making sure that Keppel doesn't let this inning get away from him with a 4-run lead.
Well, I just try to get him back to his sinker, try to get him back on the ground, and try to get a double play. That was sometimes when you have sinker balls that go up and in, it's pretty hard for them to do it because they used to focusing down with their sinkers.
Tough night for Meyer. He's grounded into a double play and struck out. 2 balls, no strikes. Keppel, a former first-round draft pick of the Mets back in 2000. And he's fallen behind 3 balls, no strikes. Keppel was on his way to Notre Dame. He's going to play basketball. Both of his parents went to Notre Dame, but the Mets taking him in the first round. He pitched a no-hitter in the minor leagues in 03. So a double and now 4-pitch walk. And the Twins go back to work in the bullpen. And out comes pitching coach Rick Anderson. Well, fans, the 5th T-shirt Tuesday is coming up in just a few days with the Cleveland Indians in town for a 7-10 game. First 20,000 fans will receive a powder blue shirt featuring a classic Royals design from AT&T. Tonight is cap night. There's a Royals fan and others with the white Royals cap. 40th anniversary cap. It was selected by the fans to honor those who have been standing behind the organization for the past 40 years. There's Donnie Miller out in right field with his free cap. What?
that just sounded kind of strange.
Betancourt thinking about laying one down. 0 for 2 so far with a fly out and a ground out. Well, the Royals with 2 runs, but they have had base runners all game. They were retired in order in the first inning by Dunsing, but runners all over the place since. 1 ball, 1 strike. Royals just haven't been able to turn that into a big inning. Left 1 runner on base in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, another runner in the fifth, although they scored 2 in the fifth. And now first and second, nobody out in the sixth.
Well, they're definitely overdue for a big inning. This is a great opportunity here. Just coming back after the Twins have scored.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell what Yuniesky was trying to do here. He's setting up like he's bunting for a base hit, but just the overall attempt was tough because there was a sinker coming down and in, and he just didn't get the bat head on the ball.
Two and two. The Royals down by 4 runs, but they've had more runners than the Twins have. Royals have 7 hits to the Twins 6. The Twins have walked 2 Royals, and there have been 2 hit batters. Three and two.
I really don't anticipate raw runners to be running with no outs right here. With that threat of a triple play, you're out of the inning.
Betancourt strikes out, so Keppel going back to that sinker that was just boring in on his hands. So 2 on, 1 out.
They've got a very good sinker. You can just look at the run on it. And the biggest thing right now is you just not getting enough plate with it to get the Royals to chase it early. He just started down too much. Right there, he started out over the plate and let it play, and Betancourt couldn't get inside of it.
And that'll bring up Josh Anderson, who has 2 hits tonight. And he has scored a run. Now you'd think that this would be a good matchup for Anderson because the fastball runs away from a lefty, and Josh likes to hit the ball to the opposite field.
And that's what he has to try to do here. If he gets it out there too far, he'll roll over on it. But if he stays toward the middle of the plate and he stays with it, he can hit the line drive like he did early in the game to left center field.
Keppel pitching inside. It's 2-0. Keppel throws that sinker that starts down the middle and breaks away. That's got ground ball into left field for a base hit written all over it. And he lays off a close pitch, and it's 3-0. So Keppel one pitch away from loading the bases with one out at the top of the order coming up. Not what Ron Gardenhire had in mind, at least to this point. Turning the ball over to the bullpen with a 4-run lead. 3-1. You see Gardy's comments after the game last night? Said the game was a mess, and it's always a mess when the Royals and Twins play one another because neither team will give up. And I think what he means by mess is there were some sloppy points last night, but maybe a mess psychologically for both teams. 3-2.
Well, just both teams' ability to hang in there and keep coming back, keep fighting back. You know, Brian Pena, the big home run. Joe Nathan giving up the lead, and then coming back and just really gutting it out and waving the manager off and saying, "Look, I got this. I'm gonna make this work." And I mean, that's just the tenacity of the Twins, and the Royals showed a lot of that last night themselves.
Taking a shot towards left field. Still 3-2. No TV tomorrow. And then the Royals begin a 2-game series with Cleveland on Monday night. That's our next broadcast in high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. And it's Gil Mesh against lefty Jeremy Sowers. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon against the Indians. Ground ball to the left side, but Harris picks it off. No double play. So that's where Anderson wanted to hit it, just didn't get enough on it to get it through. Tien moves up to third base. Meyer cut down at second, and Anderson at first, 2 away.
Like I said, Ryan, he had the right direction to it. The ball's up a little bit, and he chopped it down in the ground, which slowed the speed of it down. And KCA did a good job of faking the throw to first. And probably looking to hope to catch the Tien round at third a little bit too far.
DeJesus has singled. He's been hit by a pitch. He has flied out, and he has scored a run. Royals wouldn't mind seeing here what David did last night in the 3rd inning.
Well, this is his 10th home run here, right? Just down. It just really got extended on this pitch down by Blackburn.
David's 10th of the year, and he has driven in 56. One ball, one strike. Tien opened the inning with a double, and then Mitch Meyer walked. The Royals had something going, 2 on, nobody out, but Betancourt struck out. Anderson reaching on a fielder's choice with Meyer cut down at second base. The Royals have already left 6 on base in the first 5 innings. 2-1. Keppel's made some very good pitches in this inning, and he's made some pitches where he hasn't been close to anything. So he's just, as they like to say, just trying to grind through the inning. David strokes it to right center, and that's going to roll deep. So the Jesus comes through. He's digging for a triple, and he's in there. So it's back to a 2-run game.
There's a sinker that stayed out over the plate, similar to the pitch he got last night, but didn't get this one up high enough, but drove it into right center field. And when David, the way he's running these days, nobody stops at second base. You know, TN scores, and this is the easiest score for Anderson. He cruises across the plate, and David hustles into third base. He just never stopped. This is going to be a triple for him as soon as he hit this ball.
And his league leading 9th triple of the year. With a 2-run extra base hit, Olivo in the 5th, to Jesus in the 6th. The Royals and Wizards are teaming up to offer 2 August games for one low price. You'll get a view-level infield ticket to the August 25th Royals game against the Indians and a bleacher ticket to the August 29th Wizards game against Salt Lake, plus a Royals cap and a Wizards t-shirt, all for just $30. Go to Royals.com/Wizards for more information. Well, this is Jesse Crane's first appearance of this series, sort of. He had the equivalent of an outing last night in the Minnesota bullpen. He was warming up after Joe Nathan came into the game in the 9th, well before Brian Pena hit the game-tying home run, and he was warming up all through the 10th inning but never came in. One ball, one strike.
Well, this is one of the rare times Brian Pena would pull the ball left-handed. All of his home runs have been pulled, but normally he's trying to hit the ball to left center field, but he got a ball out over the plate and jumped all over it.
That tied the game in the bottom of the 9th, and then Minnesota winning in the 10th. 12-game hitting streak for Pena, 0 for 2 so far. 2 balls, 1 strike. He's also laid down a sac bunt tonight. That was last inning, and the Royals ended up getting 2 runs in the inning. 2-2. Bryant is the Royals DH tonight. And speaking of DH, Jose Guillen is back with the Royals and working out, and he's going to accompany the team on the next road trip to Seattle and Oakland. And there's a chance that he could be activated soon. And it looks like right now he'll see most of his time as the designated hitter because of the bad knee, which put him on the disabled list. Got him with the curveball. So the inning is over, but the Royals get 2 on the DeJesus triple, and it's a 2-run game to the 7th. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Your world delivered. Well, we go to the 7th inning, and it's a 2-run game. The Royals have been down by 3. They've been down by 4, and now trail by 2. Ron Mayhay recorded the final out of the Minnesota 6th inning, but before that, the Twins added a couple of runs. Those runs were charged to Kyle Davies. He'll get Cabrera, Mauer, and Kubel in the 7th. Cabrera 0 for 3 and 1 for 8 in the series, but that one hit was the game winner in the 10th inning last night. Cabrera had a 22-game hitting streak last time these two teams hooked up, and that ended for Cabrera in the next series. He hit safely in each of the 3 games against the Royals to get the streak to 22 games. Over Cayaspo and into right center field. So back come the Twins with the leadoff man on. So Trey Hillman wanted Ron Mayhay to face inning, and with Joe Mauer coming up, John Bale comes into the game. Bale pitched last night in the 8th in relief of Kyle Farnsworth, and he faced left-hand hitting Jason Kubel and got him on a ground out to first. He will see Kubel in this inning, but he's going to see Joe Mauer first. Well, you know you're hot even when you strike out, something good happens. And Mauer, leading off the 6th inning, struck out, but the ball got away from Miguel Olivo. He reached on the strikeout wild pitch and eventually scored. Ball 1 low. Mauer is 3 out of 8, and he's reached with a walk against John Bale.
One thing I like about him is he doesn't give ground against left-handed pitching. He just stays right in there and just hits the ball where it's pitched. So you have to make good pitches to get him out.
2 balls, no strikes. .422 against righties, so he's only a .301 hitter against lefties. 3 balls, no strikes.
It's almost like he sees everything that John Bell is throwing. I mean, he's just not even close to swinging any of those pitches.
Three and one. Well, there was something that Trey Hillman didn't like about John Bale facing Orlando Cabrera, because he didn't give the beginning of the inning to John Bale. He allowed Ron Mayhay to pitch to Cabrera, who singled. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And looking at the matchups, Bale has only faced Cabrera once, and he's 0 for 1. So it certainly wasn't the head-to-head matchups. Maybe trying to give the struggling Ron Mayhay a chance to have a good inning if he could go 1, 2, 3, but that ended with the Cabrera base hit. And now Cabrera's running, and Mauer's into left center field. Cabrera goes first to third. So that makes Mauer 4 out of 9 against John Bale. First and third, nobody out.
Well, Cabrera running. The Bedcourt had moved towards the bag at shortstop, and that's allowed this hit to be even more of a hit, because he was going to his left, and then he tried to jump at the same time and just couldn't get high enough.
And now Kubel, who has a 2-run double tonight, and Bale's breaking ball is outside.
Well, the curveball just doesn't seem to be sharp enough. It's just more of a slurve. It's sort of floating across the strike zone. It doesn't have that good bite to it, and so the left-handed hitters aren't being affected by it.
Fastball makes it 1-1. Rip to right field. Anderson plays it on a bounce. A run is home to make it 7-4. Still nobody out. And now the right-hand batter, Michael Kadire, coming up. Trey Hillman will call on Roman Colon. MLB.com's At Bat 2009 for the iPhone and iPod Touch puts live baseball at your fingertips. You'll get play-by-play from game day, real-time box scores, video highlights, and even live game day audio. Visit Royals.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to download At Bat 2009. Roman Colon is the third Royals pitcher in this inning. Hoping to record the first out. Ron Mayhay, facing Orlando Cabrera, gave up a single. Then the call to bring in John Bale, who gave up back-to-back hits to Joe Mauer and Jason Kubel. Kubel's single scoring Cabrera. So Colon inherits 2 on with nobody out and will face Michael Kadire. Kadire homered back in the second inning against Kyle Davies. He has also flied out to deep center and walked. Reaching out and hitting it into right field. Now we're back to the bag and not tagging. So that's the first out. And brings up Delman Young. Young 0 for 3, reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 6th. Second straight night that a team has had an early 3-0 lead and watched it slip away. Tonight it was the Twins, and that was their lead going into the bottom of the 5th inning. 0-1 on Delman Young. Royals scored 2 in the bottom of the 5th to make it 3-2, but Minnesota came right back with 3 in the 6th. Royals answered with 2 in the bottom of the 6th, and now the Twins with a run in the 7th. Every time the Royals have scored tonight, Minnesota's come right back to score themselves.
Well, tonight Delman Young's really had trouble with the breaking ball, especially the curveball away. He's chased that pitch down and away. Normally he likes that fastball up out over the plate so he can drive it to the alley, right center field, left field, but just hasn't been patient enough to wait for his pitch.
Delman Young was the first overall pick back in 2003 by the Tampa Bay Rays, then the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. First full big league season was 2007, and he finished second in the American League Rookie of the Year balloting to Dustin Pedroia. Caught by Betancourt. Nice play, 2 down.
Well, he hit this one like he was looking for it. There was a breaking ball down and away, and he went to the outer half and pulled it back. And Betancourt showed a lot of vertical to his right on this catch. It's almost like a jump ball.
And here's Brendan Harris, who drove in a run with a single in the 6th inning. Off of Olivo's glove, but no advance.
Now that one might have stung a little bit. That one hit right on the thumb and turned that glove, and you just gotta be lucky he didn't hurt himself on that ball. If you don't center that one, that's when that thumb gets kind of turned. You know, watch where the ball hits his glove, right on the thumb, and I.
One ball, one strike. Good slider. Popped up. So the Twins open the inning with 3 straight hits, but only get 1 run out of it. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Twins out to a 3-run lead. Minnesota in front 7-4. And now Panera will give us a look at the American League. Angels win again, 24-10 since the All-Star break. Already a 5.5 game lead coming in tonight. Boston turning the tables and blowing out the Yankees 14-1. 2 home runs from Kevin Youkilis. So the Red Sox pick up a game, 6.5 back. Chicago leading at home over Baltimore 4-1. Cleveland and Seattle tied at 3. Texas and Tampa Bay are tied up. And Detroit is at Oakland. Tigers playing well against the West, and Oakland has lost 3 in a row. Jesse Crain struck out Brian Pena for the final out of the 6th inning in relief of Bobby Keppel. So he stays on for the 7th with Butler, Olivo, and Callaspo coming up. Billy 0 for 3. Struck out his last time. He's also lost a base hit on the best defensive play of the game so far. AT KCA's dive out into shallow right field, taking away hit and an RBI. And KCA almost ripped him off again. So Billy 1 for 4, and back come the Royals. I think if KCA made that play, we might have seen Billy Butler charge the second baseman.
They really couldn't have thrown his helmet any further than they did the last time, but he really stayed behind this. This is a rocket here. That's one of them balls there, Ryan, where if he'd have moved his glove up, he just kind of got stuck in one spot thinking he's going to come straight, and he just went over his glove. He was there to make the play, but that was a hot one.
And now 0-1 on Miguel Olivo. Miguel 1 out of 3. Hit a 2-run, 2-out double in the 5th inning. Getting the first 2 Royals runs home tonight. And that made it a 3-2 game in the 5th. Minnesota with 3 in the 6th to make it 6-2, and then the Royals back with 2 more in the bottom of the 6th. And into right center field. So shortening up his swing with 2 strikes. Olivo with his second hit, and the Royals have 2 on, nobody out.
Well, this is kind of what we wish he'd do on a continual basis. They just cut that swing down with 2 strikes. He'll go through periods where he'll do it, but then he'll also go through periods where he'll swing out of control. But he just stayed right on top of that fastball and just looped it in the right side. Didn't really sting it, but just enough bat on it to get a base hit out there.
This is the 3rd straight inning. The Royals have had the first 2 men on. In the 5th, they ended up with 2 runs. In the 6th, 2 runs. And here's Alberto Callaspo. He's had a good night. A single, a walk. The only time he's been retired, he lined out to short. And Callaspo with a fancy little leg kick and a show of a bunt. Those almost look like Kenny Lofton. 2-0. Well, it's one of those games. Royals and the Twins, and Ron Gardenhire summed it up great after his win last night in 10 innings. It was a mess, and every time the Twins and the Royals get together, it's a mess because neither team will give up.
Seems like both teams make their share of mistakes, but they don't let the mistakes really take them completely out of the game, and both teams seem to have a chance to win in the end.
And now the Royals are 1 pitch away from having the bases loaded with nobody out. And now Jesse Crane is going to hear from pitching coach Rick Anderson. And while they chat, we will tell you that the Royals, the state of Missouri, and Fox Sports Kansas City have joined together to encourage young people not to smoke. Because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT NOW. A well-attended game at the Little K. And a well-attended game at the Big K. Over 33,000 here tonight. And with a lot of Minnesota fans here, loud cheers when the Royals score and loud cheers when the Twins score. It's 3-0 on Callaspo. Bases loaded, nobody out. And Ron Gardenhire is already out of the dugout. So with the bases loaded, nobody out, Jose Mijares will face Mark Teahen. Royals coming right back in the bottom of the 7th after Minnesota picked up its 7th run in the top half of this inning. Mijares appeared last night and he recorded an out, but it wasn't against a hitter. Got the final out of the 8th inning last night, picking off Willie Bloomquist. And the batter standing at the plate was Mark Teahen, but when Teahen batted in the next inning, it was against Joe Nathan. Ball 1. 2 hits, a run scored for Teahen tonight. He's been on base 3 times. He was hit by a pitch by Brian Dunsing back in the 2nd inning.
Well, this is the best opportunity tonight for Royals to break this game open. Mark Teahen is a crucial hitter here. What he does really determines how big an inning you're going to have.
And he lines it into center field. So everyone moves up 1 base. Butler scores. It's 7-5. Still nobody out.
Well, this is what you call staying on a fastball right here from a lefty versus lefty. He just stayed right on it and hit it right back through the middle. Oliva really had a hard time reading this ball. He kind of turned the circle at shortstop. You can see him. He just didn't read that ball well off the bat at all.
And Myers swung at a pitch that was not a strike.
That's the one pitch he's got to be careful of, is the ball on the inner half, and just make sure he gets out where he can get his arms extended. They've been able to get inside and jam him and get him to hit some weak ground balls to second base.
Myers only faced Mijares once. He's 0 for 1. One ball, 1 strike. Well, all night the Royals have had base runners. They have 11 hits in less than 7 innings, but still haven't had a big inning, meaning 3 runs or more. Lays off at this time, 2-1.
This is the pitch. He did a good job recognizing this pitch, because that's the one he really have a hard time not pulling the trigger on.
He thought about it.
Oh, he was close.
Popped up. And again, that pitch was up. And Harris takes care of him, 1 away. So they're loaded up with 1 out, and now Yuniesky Betancourt, who is 0 for 3. Betancourt facing Mijares for the first time. That's popped up. It'll reach the outfield. Gomez has a very strong arm. He dropped it. Twins might still get an out. And they do. But a run scores that probably wouldn't have scored with Gomez's strong arm, and it wouldn't have been a long throw. So it's 7-6.
Well, like he just overran this ball here. The ball got behind him. He overran it. but he still had to play at third base. Casper did a great job of evading the first tag attempt, but just too far away from third base to reach his arm back in there. You don't see outfielders a lot of times overrunning, what really amounts to just a pop-up in shallow center field.
So it's a one-run game again, and now Josh Anderson with runners at first and second. That's going to be scored a fielder's choice, so no base hit, but Betancourt ends up with an RBI, and Callaspo's out 8-5. Oh, 0-2 to Anderson, who has a 2-hit game, and he has scored twice tonight. Maharis in relief of Jesse Crane, who allowed the first 3 to reach. 2 have come around to score. Still 0-2. Anderson has faced Maharis 3 times, 0 for 2. He's reached with a walk. He has driven in a run. Still live.
This is where a guy with speed, Ryan, really has to battle and just try to get the bat on the ball and just try to hit the ball hard on the ground and use the speed. He's doing a real good job here of just staying alive.
Minnesota is really playing this here for Anderson to slap one to left field. Delman Young is extremely shallow, trying to give himself a shot, if it's a base hit to left field, to throw out Mark Teahen at the plate. If Teahen even tries to score with Young so shallow, and it's hit to left field, and Young almost didn't get it. So playing shallow almost backfired. The inning is over. The Royals get 2 more runs. Minnesota has been scoring runs with 2 outs. So have the Royals. Miguel Olivo with a 2-out, 2-run double in the 5th. David DeJesus 2-run triple in the 6th inning. His league-leading 9th triple, that coming with 2 outs. And Minnesota just can't quite shake off the Royals tonight with a 3-0 lead, with a 6-2 lead. And they had a 7-4 lead going into the bottom of the 7th. The Royals adding 2 more. Now it's a 1-run game to the 8th. And Carlos Gomez, who dropped a fly ball and a run scoring on that play, wasn't charged with an error because Minnesota got an out on the play. And now he lays down a bunt. And Colon just barely throws him out. Last year, Carlos Gomez had 30 bunt hits. And that has dropped quite a bit this year, and trying to get something going leading off the 8th inning.
Well, even last year, he would do it even with 2 strikes. Colon did a real good job getting himself set, didn't take that extra step, and made a nice throw to the inner half to Billy. I think that was the main thing, is not throw that ball across the runner, and he did a good job staying inside.
And now KCA showing bunt, although he doesn't have much room on the infield. Tien is in at 3rd and Butler is in at 1st. 2 hits, a run scored, and an RBI for KCA, who was batting just .187 at the beginning of the game. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that got Miguel Olivo.
He might need a minute.
Two and two. Now Trey Hillman just looking for a pitcher to come out of the bullpen and take control of the game. Ron Mayhay in relief of Kyle Davies gave up a run in a 1/3 of an inning, 3 hits. John Bale faced 2 batters, both reached on base hits. Cayaspo almost colliding with Betancourt. Betancourt makes the catch. 2 down.
Well, you just got to work on their communication on this play. This play's on the second base side of the bag, says it's Caspo's ball all the way, but they've got to call this ball, and the shortstop coming across got to know how far he can go. But this is Caspo's play, but nobody's calling the ball. They both just going for the ball.
So it's not really poor communication if nobody is communicating.
It's no communication.
Bernard Span into deep right center. Long run for Mitch Meyer, and he's there. So Colon is phase 6, retired 6. 1-run game to the bottom of the 8th. The 8th. Remember, Joe Nathan is not available. That's no surprise, but Ron Gardenhire confirmed that to Joe Goldberg before the game tonight. And even though the Royals were able to get to Joe Nathan in the bottom of the 9th inning last night, you always try and avoid the bottom of the 9th with guys like Joe Nathan and Bobby Jenks on the mound. Joakim Soria getting loose if the Royals take the lead here in the bottom of the 8th. But Royals don't really have to go for it here in the 8th, thinking that they'd have to face Nathan in the 9th, because they won't be facing Joe Nathan in the 9th.
And now he'll be whoever Ron Gardenhire thinks can come out there and get the job done. It's a whole bullpen night tonight.
David DeJesus with a 2-out, 2-run triple in the 6th inning, his 9th triple of the year. That leads the league. He has 2 hits. DeJesus, Pena, and Butler coming up against Maharis in the 8th inning. Royals have scored 2 runs in each of the last 3 innings. And Jesus thought that was a little low. Maybe he thought it was a lot low.
I would agree with you on that one.
One ball, 2 strikes. On the topic of closers, tonight we asked you, and you call it, presented by Sprint, who you think the best closer is in the American League Central, and 45% saying Joakim Soria, followed by Fernando Rodney, Joe Nathan, and only 8% for Bobby Jenks. Still 1-2. Ron Gardenhire, just like Trey Hillman, looking for that one pitcher to take control of the game out of the bullpen. Brian Densing gave up 2 runs in 5 innings in a spot start, but Keppel gave up 2 2/3. Crane gave up 2 1/3. DeJesus rolls it into left field. So a 3-hit game for David. And more importantly, the leadoff man on, the tying run at first with nobody out.
And the beat goes on for David. 3 hits tonight, Ryan. He just stayed on that pitch from a left-hander. Didn't try to pull it, just went right with the pitch. Right through the 6-hole. That's just good hitting right there.
And now let's see what Trey Hillman does with Brian Pena. We know that Brian can bunt. He's already put down a sac bunt tonight. And typically you play for the tie at home, you go for the win on the road. So with the Royals play for 1 run, it appears they will. The Twins aren't going to give up on that ball. Pena was still in the box. Pena also handles the bat very well, so he's a good hit and run candidate.
And one thing he's sacrificing, he just waited a little bit too long to get turned around. He just got to get set up a little early and just lay the ball out on the green and get David down to second base.
Brian has a 12-game hitting streak, which he extended last night in 1 at-bat, that home run in the bottom of the 9th against Joe Nathan. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Brian was squaring to bunt as Maharis throws over to first base.
Yeah, they'll throw over to first just to get a feel for what the hitter might be doing, and most hitters don't don't psych the manager out by squaring around on purpose. A lot of guys been around a while, Will, but normally this will kind of help him decide whether he wants to pitch out or what the next pitch is going to be.
And pulling the bat back. 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, you're talking about a good hitter's count. Maharis doesn't want to go to 3-1.
He doesn't want to go to 3-1, and you really got to be confident that if you do put a hit and run on that the ball's is at least going to be fouled off and put in play. You want to get a hard ground ball and not a fly ball to make it worth it to put a hit and run on.
Well, we've seen Pena make contact on some very difficult pitches. Remember that swing he had in the Chicago series with a runner at second, nobody out, to get that runner over to third. I mean, just reaching way out, barely making contact. When he was with the Braves organization, he was referred to as the Cuban Ichiro for some of his swings. He's bunting, lays down another good one, and Maharis will run to the line and tag him out and then give him a hug. So the tying run is at second base. Second time that Pena's gotten the job done with a bunt. Billy Butler coming up, and Ron Gardenhire is going to go with a right-hander to face him. It'll be Matt Guerrier. Matt Guerrier will face Billy Butler. Guerrier 2/3 of an inning last night, and one of the batters he faced was Butler, and he struck him out. Billy tonight singled and scored in his last at bat. He's 1 for 4. David DeJesus down at second base, opened the inning with a single. Brian Pena, with his second sac bunt of the night, moved him up to second base. And Billy fouls it away. Before the strikeout against Guerrier last night, Billy was 4 for 6 against his pitcher. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lined up the right field line, foul. Right now, that's the difference in the game. The Royals have had more base runners than the Twins tonight. The Twins have just been better with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, 3 for 16. That's not a good ratio right there. But Billy put on a clinic right there, how to hit a slider, how you stay with a slider and get behind it, and just missed the right field foul line. But it's almost like he was looking for that pitch.
Minnesota has stranded 6. The Royals have stranded 9 so far. Well, and if you're Guerrier and your breaking ball is your best pitch, do you go back to that pitch with the way Billy handled it on that foul ball?
Well, you just can't get that much of the plate. I mean, that's just too much plate right there. You just got to throw it outer half and have it go down and away and try to get him to chase.
That one stayed out over the plate, and Span fades back. De Jesus will tag and advance to third base. There are 2 out.
Well, Matt Guerrier really got away with one right there. That was a big hanging slider out over the plate, and Billy didn't get it solid, but he was right on it. Joe Meyer wanted his pitch down and away, and that's a big hanger right there in the middle of the plate.
So De Jesus at third and Miguel Olivo coming up. Twins are going to talk this one over. They have a couple of open bases. Olivo's had a good night. 2 hits, including a 2-out, 2-run double in the 5th inning. Against Guerrier, Olivo is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. And on deck is Alberto Callaspo, who has been on base 3 times tonight. Pulled to Harris at third. Should be easy. And that's the inning. The Royals do not turn De Jesus' leadoff hit into a run. Has gotten things under control for the Royals, retiring the last 6. Twins by 1 to the top of the 9th inning. And, of course, after the game, it's Boulevard Royals Live from Rival Sports Bar out in right field with Joel, Jamie, and Split. Interviews from the field, reaction from the clubhouse, highlights and analysis. All that on Boulevard Royals Live, brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. So 6 up, 6 down against Roman Colon. And he'll get Cabrera, Mauer, and Kubel in the 9th inning. Two and 0. We talked about this last night. When Cabrera is taking, there is no doubt he is taking. He is stepping out of the box. And you think maybe he used that as a distraction tactic. 2 and 1.
Well, I can see where it'd be distracting to some pitchers. You're right at your release point and you see a hitter backing out. I think it can take away from you a little bit. I don't know if that's something he does on a permanent basis, but if you know a pitcher, you've seen him a while, then you could probably do that. If you haven't seen him, I doubt if you would do it if he seen a guy for the first time.
Line to right field. So Cabrera with hits in his last 2 at-bats, both to the opposite field. And now we get into Mauer, Kubel, and Kadir.
That was a good pitch from Colon. Cabrera just went down with it and stayed with it and drove it to right field. Yeah, not so far away from last night's pitch by Sawyer. You see, he just really just stayed with this ball and cut it into right field.
Joe Mauer 1 for 3, singled his last time, so still at 378. He's seen Roman Colon 3 times and has 2 hits. Kyle Davies struck him out in the 6th inning, but the strikeout pitch kicked away from Miguel Olivo, and Mauer ended up reaching on a wild pitch and scoring. 1-1. Took a little off it. Mauer swinging as if that pitch was going to be 96, and it came out of his hand 86.
Well, that's how he saw it, and that's how he swung at it. He was trying to do more than just get a base hit right there. He's kind of a throwback to catchers who not only were big, but also the catcher position used to be a power position. And you go back and look at some of the catchers in the past who had similar size but were able to provide some offense. Guys like Carlton Fisk and Johnny Bench. You know, Del Murphy, before he became an outfielder, was a catcher, and he provided a lot of offense. But then it kind of went away for a while, and Pudge Rodriguez was one of those guys that, so he wasn't as big, but he had the offensive potential. And so now it's gone back to catching and receiving. But when you see a player like Joe Mauer and what he's doing right now and what he's done in the past at the batting titles, it's just amazing that he's a catcher, and he doesn't take a lot of days off.
Craig Biggio, before he moved to the infield, was a small catcher. Brandon Inge, before he moved to the infield, was a smaller catcher. Jorge Posada, who's had a great career as a catcher, he began his professional career as an infielder. Not necessarily a big guy. He's not a little guy. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mauer with 25 home runs. That's 10th in the league. His career high before this year was 13. We still have over a month to go, and Joe Mauer has missed a month this year.
Started late.
Tied him up. We've seen 2 swings from Mauer tonight that I can't say I've ever seen before. A check swing that ended up being a strikeout and a wild pitch, and he hardly ever chases pitches like this and gets tied up like that.
Well, it just seems like he's not picking the ball up well out of Colon's hand. He's just 2 off-speed pitches. He was out front, and this is a fastball up and in, and just rolled in on his hands.
Batting titles in 06 and in 08, and he's on his way this year. And 13 home runs was the career high in 06, but that was in 140 games. He has 25 this year, in 97 games. And all this after having a pretty serious back injury that kept him on the disabled list for the first month of the season. He hardly played at all in spring training. Made his season debut against the Royals on May the 1st, and his very first swing, I guess, was kind of a precursor of things to come. Homering off of Sidney Ponson, and he hasn't stopped hitting since. Almost hit him. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. You think Cabrera takes off?
I think he runs. I think Mauer can't look for a fastball right here. I don't think Colon's going to give in to him with a fastball. I think he'll go back with a changeup or even maybe a cutter.
He's an outstanding athlete. And, of course, you know that he was the first overall pick by the Twins. He's from Minnesota, got to the big leagues quickly. But he was on his way to Florida State to be a quarterback before being drafted in the first round. Cabrera does run, and Mauer takes a walk. So Colon had retired 6 in a row, but in this inning, he's given up a single and a walk, and there are 2 on for Jason Kubel. But Kubel will not face Roman Colon. It'll be Jamie Wright with 2 on, nobody out. It's a 1-run game, but the Twins have 2 on, nobody out. Jamie Wright is on to face Jason Kubel. Twins opening the inning with a base hit from Orlando Cabrera, followed by a walk to Joe Mauer. So Kubel to the plate, and he has driven in 3 runs. Hit a 2-run double with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, and singled home a run in the 7th.
Yeah, Trey Hillman brings on Jamie Wright. He's looking for the sinker. He's looking for the ground ball double play if he can get it.
He gets a ground ball. Cayaspo, Betancourt, Butler, double play. That pays off with one pitch. And on the play, Cabrera moves to third.
Well, this is what the Royals are looking for. Casper makes a nice pivot. Betancourt knows he's got time. It makes a nice, easy throw to first base. That, from a manager standpoint, that's how you like to see it work.
Ball one on Michael Kadire. Remember the old show, The A-Team with Mr. T? And the show would always conclude with George Papard saying, "I love it when a plan comes together." One and one on Kadire, who homered in the second inning.
The A-Team.
Shallow right field. That's a long run out for Cayaspo. It drops fair. The Twins get a run. Kadire moves up to second base. The Royals had that ball completely surrounded, but nobody was close enough to make a catch.
Well, this is a play here where if the outfielder can come in and call everybody else off and just go for it, you just hate to see the second baseman and the outfielder both pulling up. You just want one of them to just call it and just really go for it all out. You see Caspo's looking at Anderson all the way on this play, and so you just got to keep digging and keep digging, but you just can't let up. You just got to go all out for it.
So the Twins by 2. 0-1 on Delman Young. 0 for 4 tonight. He has scored a run. Believe it or not, at one point tonight, the score was 0-0.
Oh, Jimmy Wright had it going. I mean, he comes in, he gets one pitch, double play, and then he gets a little fly ball to right field. He thinks it's going to be an out, and here there's a run scored, and he's working to try to prevent another run.
That run is charged to Roman Colon. And that's driven to right. Anderson is there, and that's the inning. But Minnesota adds on an insurance run, and without Joe Nathan, career for the bottom of the ninth. Against Joe Nathan tonight, hoping to do it against Matt Guerrier, with Nathan unavailable because of 2 innings and 53 pitches last night. Guerrero, a holdover from the 8th inning. He retired Butler and Olivo in relief of Maharis. And the Royals will have Callaspo, Tien, and Meyer in the bottom of the 9th. Alberto has reached base 3 times tonight. He has a single and a couple of walks. Strike 1 from Guerrero. He is 0 for 2 in save opportunities, but as Callaspo strokes it into center field, you really can't take a close look at save opportunities for setup men because the only thing they can get is a blown save. Now, Guerrero can get a save tonight, but when you're coming on in the 8th inning, you can give up the lead and get tagged with a blown save, but you're never really going to get a chance to convert a save unless tonight the closer isn't available.
Well, that's true, and they get credit for a hold. You know, that's the big thing for the guys coming out that don't actually close the game down.
And now Mark Tien, who has a 3-hit game. He has been on base 4 times.
Well, the first time up, he was hit by a pitch, then he had a bunt base hit. Then he had a double down the right field line and a real hard single to right to center field.
On the outside, makes it no balls, 2 strikes. So he's feeling good at the plate tonight, and he feels good normally when he faces Guerrero, 4 out of 10. Tien made the final out of the game last night, lining out to Denard Span in right field in the bottom of the 10th. Got him to swing at the curve. Though he said last inning that was Guerrero's best pitch, and he snapped off a pretty good one to Tien, 1 down.
Well, this curveball was hard and it really turned over at 81 miles an hour. You can see the depth on it. That's what you can call an out pitch right there.
So Callaspo at first, 1 out. Mitch Myers so far 0 for 3. He did reach back in the 6th inning on a walk. Mitch still looking for his first major league home run.
Well, this would be a great time for it. I mean, you know, Mitch is big enough and he's strong enough, but
another base hit. Callaspo will go first to third. The Royals have the tying runner at first with 1 out. So Guerrero got that pitch up and Meyer jumped on it.
But just like he doesn't get a lot of lower half usage. It's more like upper body. He just doesn't really get that lower half, that backside. It comes off that backside and everything shifts to the upper body. And I think that's the reason he can't get through the ball and drive the ball like he's capable.
And that brings up Yuniesky Betancourt. He is 0 for 4 tonight with an RBI, and he is 4 for 10 against Matt Guerrero. The Royals hoping base hit to continue this inning. Minnesota thinking ground ball double play. And Betancourt has grounded into 13 this year. Just missed down and away.
So 13 ground into DPs. I'm mad to trade him and like something deep into the outfield.
On the corner, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, there's a big hole between Harris and Cabrera. With Cabrera throwing that curveball, I mean, that could be a good spot for Betancourt because he's known to roll over and hit balls in that hole.
Both of the middle infielders are pinching the middle at double play depth, close enough to the bag so they can turn a double play. And grounding it to the right side. A force at second base, so Meyer avoiding the double play. A run scores. It's 8-7. And now the tying run at first with 2 down. Betancourt drives in his second of the night.
Well, that one could have been played a little bit better in terms of KCA. He could have held Meyer there through the first and got a run down and possibly get another out right there. That's probably what Gardenhire's saying. He said you could have ended the game right here with if you just gave up the run at third. Mitch stopped, throw the first, get that out, and Mitch is in a run down. He could possibly end the game right there.
Two hits, 2 runs scored for Josh Anderson. Grounds it to KCA. And the Minnesota Twins hang on by their fingernails. So early in the game, a lead of 3-0. Then it was 3-2.